welcome back to Who Let Me Do This, me, and also you. So let's talk about it. Today is Valentine's Day that you guys are watching this. I previously already recorded this, but I didn't like it, so we are doing it again. And obviously you can see I'm not wearing makeup. I am not doing very well right now. If you can see the burns under my eyebrows and in between my eyebrows from Nair, no you didn't. I'm tired of plucking everything right now, so that's where we're at. Anyways, today I wanted to talk with you guys about relationships. I feel like that's also a very big topic. That's always a big topic because the way that I see it, so much has changed since I first started dating, and now I'm obviously married. Oh, update, we cut the nails off. I couldn't take it anymore. If you're watching this on YouTube, yay. But if you prefer to not see my face and just want to listen to my voice, if it's helping you get through life, get through what you're doing, the uncensored version of my podcast is on Spotify under Who Let Me Do This with Samantha Regina. So definitely go check that out. I will have it linked in the description as always. So let's get into this, shall we? Just please don't mind my energy. I'm probably going to do another podcast episode after this because I am feeling very overwhelmed and overstimulated. And I think that that's a good topic to talk about. Let's just get into this. I don't know when the shift between relationships happened. I don't know when that just went awry and now everyone has a side piece and no one cares to be with each other and no one cares to just be with one person. You have to be with multiple people. That's something I never understood from the get-go. I forgot the name of it. I think it's demisexual or whatever. I personally can never be with somebody in general or intimately unless I have a connection with them. That is just how I've always been. I think it runs in my family too because my mom's the same way. So I just don't get where the whole it's okay to be with multiple people and not tell someone or to cheat on each other, or I don't understand that. And then of course there's other relationship dynamics out there which we are not going to get into because I feel like my episode last week was a little much as it is. There are people that are with multiple people at once, so live your life, do you. If you could figure that out and make it work for you and your partner's involved, that's fantastic, but that's not something that I ever considered. I never thought that that was a thing besides watching True Life. I'm in a I can't say the right word. I'm a in a I can't say the word. I'm in a poly relationship. That's basically what it was. If you guys remember True Life from MTV, that's the only glimpse I've had into it. I've always known about, obviously being gay or being bi or trans, or what is the new term now where you love everyone? Pan. There you go. That's the one. Familiar with all of that now. Of course, growing up for me, it was just bisexual and gay and straight, and that was all that I knew growing up. But now obviously we have evolved and people are making up their own genders, which I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm gonna say this as a little controversial tidbit. I don't get that at all. Or people that want to be identified as animals, I don't get that either personally, but live your life. I never really have any strong opinions besides, the initial what the are you doing? If it makes you happy, you're not hurting no one, go live your life. Who am I to judge anyone for doing what they do? Me personally, I have always identified as straight, and that's kind of how I've been all of my life. I've had a few moments where I have had some interactions with women, and it was interesting to say the least. A little strange to me, but also interesting, but also I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I do think I still question things a little bit more than I probably should. But needless to say, your girl likes a pickle. That's all. I personally started dating boys. Dating. We're going to put air quotes around that because it wasn't really dating because my parents supervised everything when I was 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. Now, you have to think about this in this perspective that I was living in Maine at the time, in a small town. Shout out to Bridgeton, Maine. Love you. Things were just different back then. No one was worried about your kids going anywhere. We didn't have GPS trackers. We didn't have phones. We didn't have any of that. It was a small town, and my parents just had good old fashioned trust, and so did my ex's parents at the time too. So we literally walked down the street and saw a movie, and that was our first date. And then we just kind of kept seeing each other, going to each other's houses. Nothing ever really went that far. Honestly, it was just being together and, making out. Yeah, that was my first real boyfriend experience, I guess. And yes, I was very young, but I have to just again point it out there that times were different and times have definitely changed since then. I mean, we've got kids that are getting pregnant at 12, 13, 14 years old, getting pregnant, and that scares me. But again, if you listen to last week's episode or watched last week's episode, I feel like a lot of the behaviors that kids have nowadays are due to parents and also what they see online, which is a no-brainer. Social media has just been a big, huge thing. So this is also a time where there was no social media. I personally never really had any until I was a freshman. No, that's a lie. Till I was a sophomore in high school. It was just starting to be my sophomore year. That's when I was introduced to Facebook, and then later Twitter, and then later Tumblr, and then Instagram and YouTube, and here we are, and TikTok, of course. Things were just a lot different back then. So I was just always the kind of person that when I'm with someone, I'm going to give my all and try to be the best girlfriend that I can be, the best partner. Like, I'm going to be there for them and I'm going to do things for them, but I'm also going to give them their space and let them hang out with their friends and not be that crazy girlfriend. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why aren't you calling me? I've done that though, but that was always my mindset. And I feel like that worked well for a lot of my like little relationships. Now, you guys probably obviously already know that I have had a very volatile ex, and that's where this kind of takes a turn. So whether they're listening or they're watching, hi. I'm going to try and tread lightly here because from my understanding, this person is a nice bowl of cinnamon. Savory and spicy. Sweet and spicy, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to put this, but from what I've heard through the grapevine, I think that I, for the most part, was also a very boy crazy girl through middle school and high school. And I was like, oh my God, a boyfriend. Oh my God, a boyfriend. Oh my God, a boyfriend. Now, freshman year of high school, I'm going to throw some shade here. I had a boyfriend I was on and off with, and I was like, oh my God, I love him so much. I don't understand where my brain was, what was going on. I was on and off with this boy so many times that at one point he called me when he was and asked me to be his girlfriend when I was already his girlfriend. So there's that. And then later got feelings for one of my friends and tried to date them. And it was just a weird situation, but it is what it is now. That I think kind of like turned everything off for me, and I was like, okay, I want to have like a real boyfriend. At that point I had never had like a real like high school boyfriend, like, oh my God. And then my ex came along. This was where I think now even still, like I've come a long way. I've been with my husband for 15 years and he has seen all the sides of me. He's been through all the with me. And clearly, if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does, because the relationship I had with my ex, I considered it at one point the best I had ever had in my life, because because I had never been treated the way that I was in the beginning. And then over time, it just started kind of going down. And now I understand what was happening was that first it was love bombing. This boy, I'm saying boy, I have a right to say boy, was love bombing the crap out of me, and I was just going for it, and I was just like, oh my God, like someone's actually like really obsessed with me and like loves me and all this stuff, and it was great. I think that over time they stopped caring so much. Not that they stopped caring, but they just like started to hate me. I could tell. Like that's how I feel about it now. Is like they just started to hate me because they had all these expectations of me and wanted me to do things to be at their level, which now I understand and I get that. I'm like, okay, cool, because we were both in high school. He was a year older than me. He was a junior, I was a sophomore, and at the time he had gotten a job, like a real job. And at the time in high school, that was like a big thing, at least when I was in high school. Like I'm just, I graduated in 2011, but hey, it was getting a job and getting your license and getting a car. That was like the big things. And those were all the things that I was terrified of. I also did get a job, but I was a nanny babysitter and I loved it. I just that was my job in high school and I was really happy with it. However, my ex didn't think it was that great of a job and was like, well, when you get a real job, that's not a real job. Oh, are you kidding me? Not a real job. I just want to throw that out there. But this is again a 16-year-old boy saying this, so like let's come back. Let's come back, okay? And at that time, he had also gotten his license and he was like, "Okay, you need to go get your license. You need to do this." And at some points it was like, no, it wasn't like, it was. I was told that if I didn't do certain things, that our relationship was going to end. And that included me at one time saying, like, oh my gosh, I gained 10 pounds. Like, and I'm sorry to trigger anyone, but this is just really what was happening. Again, allegedly, I could put allegedly in there, that if I didn't do certain things, that I was going to be left. And I still tried to stay in this relationship and make it work, because I did have feelings for them and I love them and I wanted to be with them. So there was that. I think it also kind of went sour for me too, because he had talked a lot about getting married and stuff. And mind you, we were in high school. So by the time he was in his senior year, I was in my junior year. The talk had come up a few times, like, if everything goes well by the end of the year, like, we'll get engaged and then we'll get married. I wanted that. I did. I did. I wasn't thinking about that at 16 years old, and like all these things that he was like, you need to do this because you have to progress and you have to evolve and you have to be better, which at that time I was not ready for, mentally, emotionally. I was just not ready for all of that. I just wanted to be with my boyfriend and have fun, and like in the summer, like go to the fair and go swimming and just like and snuggle and watch movies and just be cute. Like, I just wanted to have a boyfriend. I was not really like mentally ready for all these things, and that obviously kind of goes to show, because here I am now at 32 and I got my license and I bought my first car at 29. But there's a lot more to that than just not getting my license. And also same with getting a job. I didn't get my first real job until I was in my 20s. So am I a little ashamed of that? Yes. Go ahead and ask. In some ways, yes, but in some ways, no, because I do believe that everything does, again, happen for a reason, and everyone progresses differently in life. And I've always considered myself a late bloomer. And I know that there's like some sort of term for that I've seen on TikTok. So I think just the biggest downfall of what had happened between us and everything was that I was very immature. I didn't really know who I was. Obviously, you don't when you're in high school. He knew what he wanted, and he knew what he was going to do to get what he wanted, basically. And there are some bad things behind the scenes as well, which I'm not going to throw out there because it's just no one's business. But it's just led into a whole many a years thing. And all I can really say about that is that what has happened has really changed me. Again, becoming, as I've said, so, oh my God, shut up. As I've said it before, becoming a mother really has changed my perspective on things now. And honestly, if I didn't go through what I went through with him, I wouldn't be where I am and who I am now. So there's a positive to it. Some things I will look back often and be like, why? And just have regret and be like, oh my God, like, why? That was stupid. What now? It's kind of like, all right. The sad part of it all is that I still don't really know if everything was real or if it was just makeup and pretend and manipulation and gaslighting and love bombing and all of that. So that relationship really put a lot of like mental strain on me. Then I literally met my husband the day after my ex broke up with me. And oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. I was just told that it was for the best. That doesn't sound like something a 16-year-old boy would say. I literally met my husband the day after, and I'm going to throw this out there too, because there has been like a long, like, doesn't even matter what people think at this point, but it's just like, I just always remember this, that people basically think that I left my ex for my husband, which is not true. My ex broke up with me the day after I literally met my now husband. He was just like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? And I was just like, no, I'm not okay. And we started talking, and a few days later, we started dating. And I wish that maybe that didn't happen as quick as it did, but it also felt very right for me and right at the time. With that, now we are in this 15-year relationship with my husband. Let me tell you, we have grown up together. We have been together since we were 17. I'm very happy. However, just because someone says they've been with someone for a very long time, don't just think that it's all been cookies and milk and ice cream and sunshine and roses and pretty sparkles everywhere. Because believe me, there's been a lot of moments. Nothing has really challenged our relationship more than becoming parents. That's a stretch, but it's the truth. My therapist has said quite a few things about, like, when you have a kid, like, you learn to grow together, and you just have to, like, your relationship just takes another, like, chapter, and you have to figure it out. And of course, TikTok, the roommate phase. Yes, yes, been there a little bit. The only things I really can say, especially if you're a new mom or you're going to be a mom and you have a boyfriend, partner, husband, whatever, it's going to be rough. You're going to question whether the other one is really that fucking stupid or not. No, I'm not kidding. And yes, I said that. As your mind changes, ladies, so does the way that you, like, think about things, and the way that you respond to things, and how you view your partner, and how you watch and observe them, especially with your child, and how they parent, and how they, just the little things. Like, at least for me, I just started noticing so much more of the little things that I was like, oh my god, just, like, stop. That right there requires a lot of patience, so much more than I'm willing to give, so much more than I'm willing to have in my body right now. I'm not even kidding. You may argue and you may fight quite a bit, unless you're just like, oh my gosh, our life is so great and we are just a fucking ray of sunshine all the time. Then that's great for you. But for me, it's like the little things. And not only that, but your hormones are still, like, all fucked up, and are going to be for up to, like, what, 2 years, a year, something like that. That definitely plays a big role. But of course, the number one thing that I did want to say, especially on this topic, and this isn't just moms, this is everyone: communication. I have realized that I am someone that I think that people should just read my mind and know what I want, and that has gotten me in trouble on a lot of occasions, not even just, like, in a relationship, but just, I'll give an example, like my wedding. There was I'm now, I look back, we've been married for almost 7 years now, so it is what it is. I'm happy overall with my husband and I's wedding. Like, everything was great. If I could go back, there would definitely be a lot of things I would change, that I would just be more, I would just stand up for myself more and not be so much of a people pleaser. Just because I didn't want to communicate, didn't know how to communicate, and was just kind of lazy. I think I was a very lazy person before I had my son. So now I just straight up don't give a at all, and I kind of speak what's on my mind, sometimes a little more than I should. Communication. You have to communicate with your partner. You have to. Like, you can be mad and just give the silent treatment for a little bit, but then at the end of the day, someone's got to come forward and just be like, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to fix this? Are we going to move on? Are we going to fight? Get your torches and pitchforks. Like, what are we doing here? Like, someone has to just be the bigger person, and unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, I am the one that has to be the bigger person, because, man, I don't know, just my postpartum, I'm still in postpartum. I don't give a when anyone says, like, oh, postpartum is just like the first 6 to 8 weeks after your baby. No, 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 no. We are still going through it right now. The postpartum depression still does happen. The postpartum rage still does happen. It doesn't just go away, which I think is also something that is really aggravating too, if you're in a relationship, because as much as your partner is trying to be there for you, if you have this, again, this is if you have a partner or you have someone, like, they're trying to understand, they're trying to get everything, but it's a sad fact that they will never fully understand what you've gone through and you becoming a mother. And that's just that. They will never truly get it. So there's some lines in the sand that just have to get crossed, or lines that just have to stay there, and that's just how it has to be. The trauma of childbirth, of having a C-section, just everything you've got, pregnancy, everything that you've gone through, especially as a first-time mother, man, it's really me. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. So it has been hard a lot of times to communicate how I'm feeling. I think a lot of it is the hormones and everything, and also just trying to be more patient. Be more patient and not just lash out when I'm getting upset, which I've been a lot better with that. I used to be a firecracker, let me tell you. And now it's kind of like, all right, I don't like what you're doing. Can you stop doing that, please? Because X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm kind of trying to, like, speak teacher. All my teachers out there, you probably get what I mean. Like, you have your teacher voice and your teacher mind, and then you have, your mind when you're not a teacher, like, and you're off the clock. I feel like I use my teacher mind so much more now, obviously, with my son, since having so much experience with, the babies and stuff. And then now I kind of have to do that with my husband because he just doesn't get it. sometimes, and I'm overwhelmed and I'm crying, or I'm overstimulated, I'm just getting really aggravated and he doesn't understand why. It's kind of like, okay, I need to go do this. This is what's going to happen. Clear communication. I used to say my relationship with my ex really f***ed me up. I used to say that a lot. And now I kind of look at it as it was a big learning experience, a very long learning experience. Here we are. I do look back though, and I do hope that he's doing all right out there. It's sad to see someone that you thought were a certain way and then they just totally change. And I know that life experience and bad things that happen and all, again, my favorite word, trauma, happens. It's just very sad to see because I know deep down that they are a good person. Anyways, this was kind of a very rambly episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it still, just me talking about my old relationships and how things were, but I don't know, things are just so weird now with kids and dating and having sex and getting pregnant and social media, and it's all just horrifying. And I've said it once and I've said it again, and I don't know if just the influence of becoming a mother and being, having everything changed has influenced me as well, but I definitely would not be with anybody else if it all ended tomorrow. I would just be alone. I would like to be alone. Thank you. I wouldn't mind it for the rest of my life. I see how it is out here, and I've seen some of my friends that are dating people, and it just like it seems like it's great and then it crashes, and then I'm like, oh my god, that's awful, and I feel terrible for them. I do not want to go through that. I would never want to go through that. So I'm very grateful for my husband and my life and my family. As frustrated as I get sometimes. Hope you guys have a great day. Don't be stupid. Be safe. Don't be stupid, please. And I hope that you all have a very fantastic, lovely Valentine's Day, whether you are with someone or you are alone or with friends or family. It's a day of love. It's a Dell. What's a Dell? It's a day of celebration of love. So embrace it. And I will see you guys in my next episode. Bye.